How do you build a big upper body? Now, as you can see, this guy has mid as fuck legs, but you can build big legs too. But this video is more centered about building a big upper body. And so what you're gonna get in this video is you're gonna get basically stuff I did to like get 17.25-inch arms at 17, and also what you're gonna understand to actually get a big upper body hormonally. So my entire channel is about natural hormonal optimization. And so the really big thing about getting a big upper body is to understand your androgen receptors. So your androgen receptors are the acceptors of testosterone, and they are most concentrated in your chest, traps, and shoulders. The interesting thing is, if you optimize these things, your upper body grows way faster than your legs. It's like I have a 325-pound bench press. I have that, and my squat is still only at 405, even though technically it should be at 420. The interesting thing is that I was at 315 bench, and I could only squat 385 pounds. And that was very extremely disproportional, and it looked like my legs were falling behind, but it wasn't my legs, it was just my upper body. My upper body was so much stronger. And here is how I did that. So how do you optimize your androgen receptors, the acceptors of testosterone? The first and most important thing that you should do is prioritize recovery and down-regulate your cortisol production. So what that is, and what that means, is that if you are stressed for a long extended period of time, what will happen is that your testosterone will get down-regulated and your androgen receptors will just not be as healthy, because stuff that you do to actually increase the health of your androgen receptors usually is pretty good for your testosterone as well. And things that are bad for your testosterone usually will be bad for your androgen receptors. So we want to lower our cortisol. We can do this with a myriad of things. So we can do breath work. We can do like brain dumping in like our journal to actually like write and like think actually the thoughts and give space for us to think the thoughts, because often people are just like scrolling and taking in more information rather than just letting their brain think. So our brains have so many things, so many background processes going on. It's like a computer. It's like a computer. If you have so many background stuff playing, then your game isn't going to work as well, right? And so you just need sometimes to focus on the actual game, or to actually let the background processes actually stop. And so we can do that. Also, there's massage. You can get a massage gun. Also, you can go on a long contemplative walk. So that is lowering cortisol. That can increase your testosterone, which will, we know that testosterone is anabolic. And so for our androgen receptor sensitivity and density, we can actually just make sure to have more sunlight, more vitamin D. We can have zinc plus copper balance, as in, and the reason I say plus copper balance is because I made this mistake where it's like I only had zinc, which is pretty good for hormones. But if you only have zinc, then your body gets all of its copper used up by the zinc. So you need to have zinc plus copper balance, or else you will end up having a copper deficiency and have way too much iron in your body. So anyways, another couple ways for you to actually increase your testosterone is to reduce your body fat to 10 to 15% body fat. The reason for this is because aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone into estradiol, is actually held a lot in fat tissue, in adipose tissue. And so if you have more fat tissue around your whole body, you have more of aromatase enzyme that will convert your testosterone into estradiol. And because most of your estrogen comes from your testosterone as a man, what will end up happening is that, I have too much estrogen levels. By the way, I'm your body speaking. I have too much estrogen levels, and so I need to downregulate my testosterone production because I have too much estrogen, so that I basically probably have too much testosterone. And so really that's what's happening. So if we decrease our body fat percentage to around 10 to 15% body fat, then what happens is that we're at the perfect sweet spot to actually make sure that we have the highest levels of testosterone that we could. Anything lower than 10% actually is bad. For our actual hormones, because our hormones, our steroid hormones like testosterone, is actually made through fats. So that's important too. The other thing is testosterone exists for competition. So if you do more competitive things like fighting, like sports, even playing games, even though I would not recommend playing games because it's like supplementing what you should be doing in real life and putting it into a game. So anyways, it gives you acute testosterone spikes. Of course, vitamin D helps to an extent, and just make sure you have enough sunlight. Then there's also talking to attractive women. This one's probably the funnest one. Yeah, definitely the funnest one. And then there's also prioritizing recovery, because if you do not recover between actual gym sessions, like if you're still feeling like really fucked up from the last one, then you won't be able to actually, you just won't be able to to perform as well, but also your androgen receptors won't be as sensitive to testosterone. And so recovery is incredibly important. So what are the actual muscles that we need to exercise, and what kinds of exercises can you do to increase the size of your upper body? We'll start with your chest, because your chest is like, I like to think of it as chest is kind of like confidence. You know, if you have a big chest, then you can, well, not only you have strength in your bench press, but you also just seem more confident. You have your chest held high. Do you know what I mean? So the ways you can build your chest is actually, I truly recommend, for aesthetic reasons as well, but also just for strength and reliability, stick to barbell or dumbbell movements. And so you have regular bench press, right? You can do that dumbbell or just regular flat bench. Some people say dumbbell is more effective, but I just like doing barbell more. And then there's also incline. Incline dumbbell is really great for literal all strength gains, but then also you have the incline barbell bench, and that basically, so many people have underdeveloped incline barbell bench or just upper pec, and so their chest looks like it sags. And so you really want to make sure that you get that all together to make sure you have just a big upper body, because again, this is the upper. And you'll notice that when you start optimizing your hormones, you'll be able to build your upper body much faster. Then we have shoulders. I personally wouldn't even worry about the front delt, simply because you're already doing that with the bench press. You already use your front delt a little bit with the bench press, and so I would focus on more the rear delt, so the very back one, and the side delt. Most people have underdeveloped rear delts especially. And so what you can do is, when you're training for rear delt, you can like lean forward just a bit on like the pec fly machine, the pec deck, and then you can just like do this and let's hold it for a second just with lower weight. If you do extremely high weight, then your traps get activated, and you really don't want that. And so you want to go a little bit lighter weight, higher reps, so you can get more connection over here on your rear delt and just go. So that will help you build your rear delt. Other thing is, with side delt, all you need to do, you just need to do the lateral raises. Those are really the most important things that you can do for your side delt. Otherwise, your back is an incredible part of your frame. What you really want to focus on is building that mind-muscle connection and not cheating. Pull-ups are incredible. Instead of thinking of getting the bar to you or getting up to the bar, think of it as bringing the bar to your chest. So you end up arching your back a little bit and bringing your hips forward, and that'll help the actual pull-up feel much better. The other thing is with rows, when you're seated, if you do rows, don't lean back a lot, because then you're doing just your upper back, and you want to also do your lats, because that's a big part of your upper body frame. And your arms, I recommend, the Bayesian curls on the what's it called, on the cable machine. And for the triceps, I recommend isolating them. So not doing both the rope, because you might end up cheating like a little bit, like kind of like that. You want to do one by one, just one of the cable curls, cable tricep push downs. And so I truly recommend that. And so these have been how you can optimize your hormones naturally, your androgen receptors naturally, and how you can just make your upper body way bigger. Now I'm also going to do a legs video, how you can build your legs. And if you want my entire system, you don't want to wait for any of that. You want my entire system right now, no fluff, all action steps. You want to make sure that you build a big upper body, get a 325 bench similar to me, maybe not 325, but maybe like 250-pound bench press. Then you can check the link in the description below. I truly have so much conviction for this, and I can say it and it won't negatively impact my brand, because it's a good ass product. And so you can join for free actually. So yeah, like the video.